Okay, so today we're going to be going over how our new banana holds are going to work, what they're going to look like, what everybody's doing. It's important that everybody watches this because everybody has a part to play in this. Okay, so starting out, at the beginning of the round, we'll start from the beginning of the round. At the beginning of the round, we're going to send 3 people over towards banana. Those 3 people are going to be Matthew, Thomas, Harry. And I'll show everybody their grenade sets, what they need to learn, and what they need to be buying every round. If you can't buy it that round, you need to make sure that everybody knows it, because if you don't say anything, you're screwing everybody over. Anyways, so we'll start out with the 2 players that are going to be there at the beginning of the round, and that's Matthew and Harry. We'll start out with the mollies. So this is the biggest mistake in our demos, or in our demo that I watched, our last league game. Our mollies down banana would land maybe like that, at best, and then maybe like right there. Those were generally the 2 grenades that I saw. The biggest problem is a molly only covers till there, so they have this much room. That molly only covers back here-ish, maybe back there, so they can be all the way back here. For future reference, Astralis calls this area China. I don't know why, but at least we can start having a call out for it instead of just like all the side corner. So we'll call this China. I was watching a lot of Astralis demos on how they maintain banana control. I think we can use it. So that was one of our biggest problems. The second was we weren't actually playing for banana control, we were playing for top banana control. We need to make sure that we're not, just sitting sandbags every round, so that the T's can just go, oh, we know one's sandbags, so we'll throw that. Volley, we know one place right there, so get either nade stack it, or in the case of our league game, volley both players off, swing onto this one who's falling away from the molly, kill him easily, or at least get a trade. This player can't do anything, or he dies because he's stuck on this side. Okay, so we're going to be going over first nade set, and we'll start with Matthew. So Matthew, you have a pretty easy nade set to learn. You're going to be running up over here towards this corner, throwing this molly. It's in the middle of the balcony, line up there, step back a little, find the top of this archway, run and throw while aiming at the arch, and ideally you throw a grenade, logs, then you're falling back, you're leaving. Obviously if they're taking the fight up banana, they're sending like 2-3 people, then stay and take the fight as well. But you're falling back. I'll get to what you're doing later, but I want to just go over what everybody's nades are going to look like, just so we get an idea of what the full banana take looks like. So Harry, nade set up. You're going over towards this sandbag, finding the middle between this shadow right there and this white square. Run and throw this molly. So while this looks similar to the molly that landed right there, importantly, you can't hide in this corner. So I'll show you how all these nades look when paired with each other. So that smoke is thrown second, this molly is thrown first. Doesn't matter the order because right now, because I'm offline, there's nobody there. It's not there. So as we can see, there's a gap here. There's a gap right there-ish, between there and there. And there's oftentimes a gap here. A lot of times there won't be a gap here, but the molly spread is kind of random, so it just depends. But you definitely want to be clearing this area. There's always going to be a gap here, so that's what the nade is for. So again, Matthew throws that. My smoke missed, so you want to practice these nades. So I need to step back a little farther, aim up a little higher, so that actually lands back there. And this one right there, like that. Hey, yours is like that. I'll show you how we're actually taking banana control. So first you want to jump spot over this wall to make sure that there's no player in the middle right there. Because if there's no player in the middle, jump spot it, come back here, which is probably ideal, however you want to jump spot it. So at this point, Matthew's falling back. If there's nobody in that middle area, and obviously there's nobody charging, Matthew's falling back, and now it's just Harry and Thomas. There's a smoke down there. So Harry, now your job is to push up and hard clear this angle, clear that angle. And you're just gonna be sitting here. And you have a smoke, so you can re-smoke once. And just keep sitting here. And Thomas is going to be at the top, holding this up or M4, doesn't matter. And once that smoke dissipates, he's going to be jump spotting for you. If you see somebody, obviously you'll call it out. You may not see somebody depending on the timing, so just keep that in mind. The thing about Thomas is you both are kind of symbiotically baiting each other in a way. So if Thomas sees somebody, he's just falling off immediately. Unless you kill everybody, then he'll come back. But he's falling back immediately after you see somebody. And so you're kind of left on your own right here. Ideally, you get a trade. That's like the biggest thing. If you get a trade, you did your part for the round. So if you kill one, then you get traded, which is probably pretty likely. I would suggest if you kill one, then you swing into the other one, not wait for him to run around the corner and pre-fire you. So if you kill one, try to swing. Thomas is falling back, essentially, towards sight. And as soon as he sees somebody, this is when Dylan starts coming over from Arch. So Dylan's going to start rotating over towards B. As soon as Thomas sees somebody, if Harry survives, then Dylan will start rotating back. Otherwise, he's going to keep the rotate up, move over here, and then move towards CT. So at this point, Harry's dead. That Thomas is going to get up on top of here. He's going to throw, so he's going to line up. You're going to want to line up here, Thomas. Throw a smoke where this line intersects with this roof. Throw that smoke from this same angle, this knob on top of this roof. Throw that molly. And then at the corner of this roof, left and right click and throw that flash. And after Dylan hears that flash, he's going to be swinging into banana, and then push up, clear that, and then clear maybe that. So I'll show what these nades look like for Dylan, show how they look, just to make sure he knows what he needs to clear, what everybody needs to clear, what everybody needs to do. So that smoke, that molly, flash isn't very important for this, but everything except for back here and on top of the sandbags is going to be mollied, and then obviously over here, that's what the flash is for. So we'll see what the effects of the flash are right now. So let's throw that flash, wait for the pop, and then, so this area, this whole area, right around there is molly off. So what is your instinct when this is smoked? You want to hold top banana, and that's mollied. Well, you're gonna start running over towards cover, right? That's exactly what we're trying to bait them into doing. I just threw that smoke, damn it. So then, as they're running away, this flash comes in, full white. Dylan has the easiest kill of his life. Dylan probably, sometimes you'll get 2, sometimes you'll even get 3, because they literally have nowhere to go but into that flash, unless they're already sitting here and playing like anti-flash. They probably shouldn't have been able to get up here fast enough, because crossing this is super dangerous, and so that would be dumb if they just have top banana control. So then Dylan will retake top banana control. This will be smoked off, and then Thomas is going to rotate off of B and then move over towards A, because the odds are, after being crushed on B like that, their instinct is to go back towards A. And if not, I think Dylan is a pretty good solo banana hold, and given top banana and a smoke right there, I think he's got a pretty damn good chance of at least getting 1 kill. So he's multi-fragged that round, and that gives us probably at least a 3-on-2, if not a 3-on-1 retake on B. So that's the idea of the banana hold. Now I'm going to quickly go over from everybody's perspective. So now that I've given an overview of what everybody's going to be doing, just so that everybody knows what's going on, now I'm going to go over everybody's POV. So I'm going to start with Matthew's POV. So Matthew, it doesn't matter where you spawn. I timed everything out, and I know what's going to be going on towards A, so I know what I need to hold, what I don't. So Matthew is going over, throwing that molly, that smoke. You want to definitely play with it a little bit more. That smoke to clear. So this molly, like that, and that smoke. So maybe you have to throw the smoke first. Okay, we'll try that. We'll see how that goes in scrims. So I changed the order. This shouldn't matter in the long run, but it probably makes it easier for you, because while you're running up to line up the molly, you can throw the smoke, and then you can switch to the molly, and you can throw the molly, and that'll work, as you can see right there. And then if you have an HE, this is optional. You don't necessarily need it. If you need a gun or something, throw the HE, and then you're falling off. Unless they're taking the fight right up banana, then you'll stay. But we'll go with they're not first, because if they stay, obviously you know how to take gunfights, hopefully. And then you're gonna be falling off, and you're gonna be playing towards Balk. Obviously they can be pretty far up by the time you get there, so maybe you want to play something somewhere on site, at least for a little bit, until you can clear and then make the crossover without getting shot. You don't want to be running knife out into pit so that this guy swings on you and kills you. One other thing to keep in mind is that they could have an op posted up like that angle or that angle, so you can jump spot it right there. So if you run out of library, this box is still covering it, run up to the box, jump spot. If you see him, then play sight, obviously. If you don't, then you can do a few shoulder peeks, then get into pit if you prefer pit, or you can play sight. Sight's a pretty strong spot too, because you can get this kill, aim down here, get that kill, get another kill up there, play around the box. Or you could get a kill up here, play back this angle, cover off the balk. Go through there maybe. Play this off angle. Whatever, however you want to play this. As long as they can't rush out of balcony. That's the biggest thing. Okay. So that's from your perspective, and then it's business as usual. Alright, so now we're going to be going over Harry's perspective on this. So, round starts. Right up towards banana. You have a molly. Throwing that quick molly. All the other nades are going to go down. And you're going to be peeking. You're going to be jump spotting just to make sure they're not in the middle. You could run over here and jump spot. It doesn't really matter as long as you can see that middle area. So for that, jump spot. Running over here is pretty dangerous, so you can just jump spot over the wall. Make sure there's somebody there, then swing into it. The closer you jump spot, the more vision you'll have, but the more vision they'll have of you. So you're gonna find that sweet spot, which could be like right there. So throw that molly. Once you realize there's nobody there, keep in mind there'll be smoke down here. Matthew's molly will be right there. And then Matthew, most rounds will probably have thrown a nade there. So you just need to hard clear that angle, and you're sitting pretty here. You can see this smoke from here. As soon as it starts to fade, I can see it starting to fade. Drop a smoke. Probably don't want to be knifing the wall. Gives away your position a little bit. You play here if you feel more comfortable. If you feel like you made too much noise by dropping that smoke, maybe you knifed the wall or something, maybe you made a step or jump, you can go over here. You just want to do this early warning system, and then you're gonna be taking the fight. If you win, you win. Lose, you lose. So that's the end of your perspective. Now we'll go over Thomas's perspective. So Thomas is going to be coming over here. The biggest thing here is you don't want to be using very many nades because you need a lot for the retake. Let's say you don't have an HE this round, but you have 2 flashes. That's fine. It's perfect. So once they take, so you're pretty much just back here. You could be holding an angle like this or like this. It'll probably be pretty helpful because both of the other players, Harry and Matthew, are going to be having nades out. So you need to make sure that you're having a gun out just in case somebody somehow gets up really fast. Because if they have the best spawn and they're just bum rushing it, then you need to have your gun out because it's going to be the only person, and the mollies are actually going to make sure that the supports can't do anything. So this entry may be able to come up and he may kill like one person and then you trade. Ideally, you want to kill him before he can kill anybody else, but that doesn't always happen, obviously. But the biggest thing is you're not allowing for multi-frag, because if he dies, then the supports have to run through 2 mollies, and they're not going to do that. They're just going to die if they do that. So keep in mind that you're probably at max facing 1, maybe 2 if they get lucky with spawns. But your job is really important to just be able to hold this. You can hold it with an op, it doesn't really matter. Hold that angle. Or just kill him when he comes out. So then once, so that smoke will be down. Harry will re-smoke it. So that's probably what it'll look like after Harry re-smokes it, because it won't go as deep. Then your job becomes pretty simple. You're just jump spotting this. Once the smoke fades, obviously there's no reason to jump spot it before then. You can hold it this way to gun out. And once the smoke fades, start jump spotting. And then if you see somebody, what you can do is, no matter what, you're falling back. You're not taking this fight. What you can do if you have 2 flashes, not like that, you need to throw them, just like hold left and right and throw it over. And what that flash should do is it'll help out Harry. So if they're running up to try to hard clear this angle, they'll at least get a little flash. If they're running up, and if they're just running up, they're gonna get full flash. And then Harry should probably be able to multi-frag if that flashes anybody. So maybe your util set on a full buy round is molly, smoke, and 2 flashes. Either way, on a full buy round, you need to have a molly, a smoke, and a flash. And that's bare minimum. Ideally, you have 2 flashes. If you can't, just make sure that the team is aware of that. And then I'll go over how we can play around that. It could mean that you and I switch spots, and you'll be playing lane with an op start round, or a rifle, depending on what you can buy. If I can buy full util, or that could mean we're playing differently up and down. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're flexible. So, just remember that if we're playing our default banana setup, you're just going to be falling off. Moving towards sight, you want to make sure that you're calling this, right? You want to make sure that you're calling this, that you're falling off towards sight, because as soon as Dylan hears that, Dylan's going to start rotating over. And then once Dylan is in CT, and he says he's ready, so when you fall back, you probably want to be falling back to here. Hold this with your gun out until Dylan's ready. If you have an op, this is much less opportune angle, but it's still not a terrible angle in my opinion, because you can get a pick, and then you can fall off, and maybe if they're rushing you, then obviously you don't need that full util set, so you can throw a molly here. You could smoke. You could even smoke this off, and then you could play around this with new box, because you've mollied this area. They're not going to be in this annoying ass headshot angle. You can pick them off as they're coming up onto site. So that's what I would suggest, actually, come to think of it, is no matter what, just being up here. If you're an op, just zoom in, scope up, fall back, throw that smoke. After that smoke goes down, throw that molly. And then you'll probably be fine. That's actually not a bad hold area. But anyways, once Dylan's ready for those nades, line up like that with this middle bar area, and we're throwing that smoke, that molly, and then that flash, and then you're going to start rotating towards A. I would not advise running out in the middle of the open until Dylan's taken top banana. So just remember that you're waiting on him for taking that, because you don't want to be, unless you want to double peek it, which may be better even, double peeking this after your flash with Dylan. So Dylan's probably going to be up pretty close by now. I don't think he would even get flashed when he's here. Yeah. So he's going to be pretty close, or he could be far. Depends on how he wants to play it. But double peeking may be a good idea as you're falling away. And then you're going to be rotating back towards A. And then you'll be able to play towards arch. And then that'll be your position. Okay, so got 7 minutes left till the round ends. So Dylan, you're the last POV that I need to go over. So the beginning of this round is going to look very simple, and we're just going to be playing business as usual top mid. We're going to be playing towards arches. Maybe I'll smoke this, and hopefully a little bit better than that. And then we'll go for a boost. Maybe we'll do something crazy, that, or maybe we'll double up arch, where you're sitting here and I'm mopping here. I take a shot, fall off. If they're like really pressuring arch, then we can double up arch. Then I can play back towards here, take a shot, fall off. And then they're going to be so focused on me, especially if I got at least 1 kill. They're going to be so focused on trading that they're probably not going to check cubby. You definitely want to let at least 1 person run by. So let 1 run by. Obviously keep your crosshair on them if they get like past here, I'd say if they're getting a little close, pull the trigger. But otherwise, trigger this one's really important here, because 1 for 1 is not very good in this situation. But 2 for 1 is actually really good. Or 3 for 1, 3 for 0. But you can pretty easily multi-frag because they're going to be tunnel visioned on me. So that would be a good way to counter heavy, like if we know that they smoke lane and that's their default to taking top mid control, they smoke lane and then they heavy pressure arch, playing 2 arch, it's perfect. So keep that in mind. So business as usual. And then once Thomas has fallen back, he's going to call it. He's going to call these falling back towards site, and that's your cue to rotate. Maybe rotating here. And then it's going to be like this. You're going to sit here and wait. And what you're waiting for is obviously Thomas to throw all the nades, but specifically, you're waiting to hear that flash. As soon as you hear that flash, you're swinging. You're swinging off of this. You're starting to check these angles. You're hard clearing that. And you want to clear that. Keep in mind, this is smoked. There's a molly. That both mollies car. And yeah, looks pretty much like that. Molly's back there too. Pretty much everybody on banana is going to be flashed. If there's anybody there, probably going to frag out. And then ideally you'll have a smoke for yourself, and you can smoke here. It really depends on how you want to play banana, but I have faith in you. I feel like you have banana pretty figured out, so maybe you want to, if the round time's getting really low, like maybe 20 seconds left, then you definitely don't want to be playing top banana anymore. That's when you give it up. That's when you start playing towards site, second oranges, maybe dark, just anywhere where you can deny the bomb plant pretty easily. New box, dark, second oranges, probably not coffins, because if you deny the bomb plant, you win the round, right? Because there's so little time left. But if there's a lot of time, like say 45 seconds, then honestly feel free to re-smoke this and then hold top banana, because this is actually really important, because now Thomas is going to be falling off. And you're going to be soloing banana. So however much utility you have is how much you have to work with. Just keep that in mind. Right, and that's about it for a banana hold. I want to try this out. So I think it'll work a lot better, because I think it has multiple uses. One, it means everybody who wants to play banana will play banana. And 2, I think it'll help hold banana for a lot longer, and I think it'll prevent us from getting into a situation where we have 2 people or 1 person who's committed towards site who isn't able to delay long enough for a rotate, so who doesn't have utility or whatnot, or whatever reason they're not able to delay. Because when you think about it, the closest rotate is arch, and you probably here. And so if we started at 2, you're running through here, you're not doing anything through CT, because CT is always going to be smoked. Coffins is usually going to be smoked, but that's like a 15-second rotate if Coffins isn't even smoked. So it's a long rotate in the grand scheme of things. So not being able to delay that smoke for the last 17 seconds, 12 seconds is pretty important. So that's about it. We'll go over this in scrims, we'll go over this in practice. I want to definitely be going over this in practice just so that everybody gets the feel for it, but alright, that's about it.